A new year and one sure to be full of twists and turns in the race to the White House. Here to put things in perspective, political analyst John Dadian. John, thanks for being here.
Good morning.
Well, let's first of all go ahead and start with the presidential candidates on the Republican side. More people dropping out. When do we expect it to thin out even more?
The first 2 months of in the new year, because that's when the primary / caucus schedule is. You have a couple early in February, but then March 1st is considered Super Tuesday. Clearly we'll know by then who's realistically going to stay in.
And the polls still show Donald Trump ahead of the others. Do we expect it to stay that way for a while?
Well, there's a theory that those numbers might not be accurate because a lot of people, believe it or not, either don't want to say they're voting for Trump, so they think his numbers might even be higher. So yes, I don't see him coming down very much in the near future.
And let's talk about Marco Rubio, because some people thought he would be in a better position than he currently is. What's going on with him?
Well, again, better position. Nobody expected this Trump phenomena. So he's clearly still in the running. You really are looking at the one who's dropped is Carson. That's the one who was in front. So it's really Trump, Rubio, and Cruz that everybody's looking at. Christie is still around. Bush is still around. I predict they'll probably drop. So keep your eye on those three. Rubio clearly is still in it.
And Ted Cruz gaining ground as well.
He's gaining big ground. Again, not only in general, but specifically in those early primary and caucus states.
What do the candidates need to do to get the attention off of Trump? I know they keep saying that in their various debates.
Well, I think the one who's done the best is Cruz, in the sense of, number one, not taking Trump too seriously, but he was very smart that he still responds, and he responds kind of either sarcastically or good-naturedly, and that throws the Trump campaign off a little bit.
Now with the Democrats, Hillary Clinton still far ahead of Bernie Sanders. What does Sanders need to do in order to gain some ground here?
Well, it's tough for him because, again, he is doing well, huge rallies, but that's kind of probably a glass ceiling for him because even for the Democrats, he's considered pretty far left. I say keep your eye on OMalley. If for some reason, clearly Hillary's going to be the nominee as we speak today, but clearly if something happens to her, OMalley's going to be better positioned than even Bernie Sanders to take that mantle. But then again, some big name Democrats will jump in at that point if Hillary ever implodes.
And let's talk about OMalley a little bit, because some people even forget that there is a third candidate because the focus so much has been on Clinton versus Sanders. Explain a little bit more about OMalley, what he needs to do.
Again, he's been very smart for hanging in there. One reason why you've seen people dropping out on the Republican side is because of money. It takes a lot of money to even go to these debates, to go around the country, to bounce between New Hampshire and Iowa. So OMalley has just hung in there enough to keep his name in, and as I said, to hopefully position himself. Because again, in politics, timing is everything. And
let's talk about polls, because you say some polls don't matter.
Well, certainly now for several reasons. First of all, these national polls are saying who's up. Again, that's not how we elect the president. That's number one, why they don't matter. Number two, people are saying these head-to-heads, Trump versus Clinton, certain ones, Rubio versus Clinton. The reason those don't matter is because that's a whole idea of a campaign. Once you get in the general election, once you're the nominee, you're doing everything from precinct walking to TV advertising. And if you do it right, you come up and your opponent goes down, and they're doing the same thing. So that's why it doesn't matter. Once you're the nominee, believe me, it's all going to shift, and it's one-on-one. What's happening, especially in the Republican side right now, is a shotgun approach. Trump has to get his word out, but he's got a whole bunch of other candidates. Once it's a general election one-on-one, it's more of a rifle approach. They can direct it against Hillary, she can direct it against a Republican nominee.
And lastly, with the Republicans going back, did you feel that there would still be this many candidates at this time?
Oh, nobody predicted this. Clearly, this is the most candidates in recent memory. And again, quite honestly, one prediction that I did make wrong is I thought the herd would have thinned out much earlier than this.
It's thinning out, but slowly.
Slowly but surely. But it will thin out. I would say after March 1st, the Super Tuesday, which is more than a dozen states have the primaries on that one day, clearly it'll be down to 2 to 3 candidates.
Got it. All right, John, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Good.
I appreciate it. We'll be keeping a close eye on it in the months to come, of course.
Busy times.
I'm Melissa Mecija with 10 News for this week's San Diego Newsmakers.